Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. There are certain things that I've been ranting about since forever, but when I see that the consequences of the very things that I've been ranting about are now beginning to affect the very people who they claim to have been there to support, that makes it even worse. And one of my issues that I have had is with local authorities because they have taken steps in a war against landlords that has not only made life difficult for landlords but has done nothing to help tenants whatsoever. Now, if you have any experience of this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. A few years ago, for some reason only known to local authorities, only known to the benefit system, rents for those on benefits began to be paid directly to the claimant rather than direct to the landlord. Why on earth would they do that? Why would they put hundreds of pounds or more per month into the accounts of people on benefits, knowing that temptation may very well get the better of them, or even poor money management? If that rent, or at least the LHR, the local housing rate portion of it, which would be the main part in most of the country, then at least that part would have been paid to the landlord. But no, they decided that they were going to pay it to tenants. Then, in another step, as housing became a little bit more difficult, or a lot more difficult, when landlords issued a Section 21, councils would then advise the tenants to not move until they were taken to court. And that actually exacerbated the problem because that made landlords even more picky about the tenants that they would rent to. There was more people who were on the home stretch to being evicted, all being through the courts rather than with a fast track Section 21. And when these people end up going through the courts, when they then have court judgments against their name, when they have incurred costs, and when they have become toxic in the eyes of other landlords, the council then turn their back on them and do absolutely nothing for them anyway. But it is the council, by threatening to refuse to help them should they comply with an order from the court to vacate the premises, that caused this problem in the first place. And now we're seeing more of this. Let me put my glasses on because I just can't read it otherwise. And this cites a council in Shropshire that has now begun to ask for landlords to help them out because they're struggling to house homeless families. And they're offering incentives, including free property health and safety inspection, advice on housing regulations and needs to be met, such as gas and electric. They're even offering financial incentives for a 12-month tenancy, including supporting the tenant's deposit for the first month, lump sum rent payments for self-contained accommodation, and contribution towards insurance. Ruth Sanders, Corporate Director of Gloucester City Council, says, "We want to hear from local landlords so that we can match them with tenants, and we will support them for the duration of the tenancy. We offer a variety of financial incentives to landlords and give a helping hand to those people who might not otherwise be able to get a rental property." Then a statement from the council site to local landlord Joe Watts, a landlord from Gloucester, saying the team make things extremely easy from a landlord's perspective. Well, they could have done this a long time ago and not made the problem so bad in the first place. Firstly, what is wrong with ensuring that rent is paid direct to the landlord? Full stop. Why have landlords suddenly become the police for immigration, and landlords are at risk of having rent clawed back, let alone not paid, but clawed back, if they have missed something and the person in their property is an illegal immigrant? And yet at the same time, in parallel, we have the government housing thousands of these illegal immigrants and paying out many times more than an assured short hold tenancy, but that's perfectly acceptable. So a landlord that would have a problem, this is the irony of it, a landlord who would have a problem renting out an assured short hold tenancy to a particular person for whatever reason, whether that person could work or not work or whatever the case may be, could actually vacate the property, contact one of the agencies that deals with housing those who have arrived illegally, and then that agency will pay them what they would have got for the whole flat, for example, for each room, and they will get guaranteed payment and they will be looked after in every way, shape or form. So basically, it's perfectly acceptable to house those who are illegal as long as you're doing it through an agency, because that agency obviously charges the government a fortune, which comes out of our tax to pay everybody, but that's perfectly acceptable. Hypocrisy doesn't even come anywhere near defining this chaos. And it's not just the landlords who have suffered here, it is tenants as well, because it is invariably those in most need who have been punished, because as local authorities have bullied landlords more and more, then an increasing number of landlords have either tightened up their criteria, pulled their house out of short hold assured tenancies, or even sold up. But a property that's sold won't necessarily be made available for long-term rental by the next landlord. Perhaps they may live in it, perhaps they may convert it into serviced accommodation or something completely different. So this is the result of their own actions. They have exacerbated the problem. This is on top of the fact that obviously every day, with more people arriving, there's more people chasing fewer and fewer houses that are available, and the cycle just continues to get worse and worse. No direction, no actual logical, well thought out plan to fix this mess that they have created. Anyway, that's all for now. I've cheered you up. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now, and I will see you next time.